In the headlines, Prime Minister Skerrit consults with tour operators ahead of presentation of national budget. Ministry of Agriculture staff trained to enhance crop monitoring through drone technology. And the businessman predicts long road to economic recovery for Dominican citizens. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, 2 local tour operators have been sharing with Prime Minister Skerrit how Dominica can better position itself to take advantage of its tourism potential. It is anticipated that some of the recommendations made by these tour operators and other tourism sector stakeholders could be reflected in the upcoming 2020-2021 national budget. One suggestion is to lower the head tax for visitors.
Tourists are people that phony. If a tourist can save $1 from there to there,
you're right.
For me and you, which I know nothing,
yeah, you're right.
You will not believe the tourists will go all the way when they come back and save $1.
Yeah.
That's just how tourists are. So what you find the difference now is that they start running now to St. Lucia because the head tax in St. Lucia is just about $33. But here now is $80-something. Now, apart from the head tax here now, what you find the other problem, which making it a bigger problem for them now, is they cannot swipe their card to pay the head tax. That's a big problem.
So that's the main problem.
French people do really use
cash.
If they don't really have cash, all their thing is swipe. They buy a Coke, they swipe it. That I believe, if we can again planning to open the borders. If we could drop that,
we can look at that
to kind of attract.
Well, there's a discussion, regional discussion at CARICOM level to get countries within the Caribbean, because we know we're pushing a CARICOM bubble.
Okay.
And there's a recommendation from the CARICOM heads that we should look at reducing our head tax in respect to CARICOM nationals traveling. So we can take note of this French issue.
Another suggestion is to create better access to tourism sites with great potential.
Trafalgar Falls, that is one of our main sites.
Premier site there.
Right. Now, getting to Trafalgar on the trail is very, very easy. But once you get to the viewpoint, Trafalgar to me is one of the only waterfalls I see that have a hot spring in the base.
In the base, yeah.
Now, that waterfalls now, you have a hot spring in the base, and still on the second one you have a big pool.
Access to this difficult.
Access, because since
how do you fix that? Because you have some massive rocks there.
Yeah, that's it.
If you tamper with them, what happens? You know, they make cascade.
Well, all you have to do is talk to somebody some kind of an engineer that can think of like some kind of a creative way in getting easy access to the hot springs and to the other falls. Because if you really want to enjoy the falls, then you would want to take a hot spring bath, or
I agree with you entirely.
Or go to the pool.
That's one of the better waterfalls in the country.
Yes, that is one. Secondly, my other thing is security at certain sites. I would like to see that basically upgrade. For example, one of my main issues is Syndicate Trail. Seeing that is very, very, very far away from the public or from the village. Anything can happen up there. And I would really need to see, I don't know, or they can either have security there physically, or set up some, some kind of cameras and so on and so on and so on to to have the place up there secured.
In more top stories, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture are better equipped on drone technology for increased crop monitoring. Julian Morris explains.
This was the aim of a training workshop with the ministry's staff over the weekend. However, the initial training format did not go as planned due to bad weather. Coordinator of Disaster Risk Management Project in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Almario Kazimi, says training in the use of drone technology began in 2019. One such device is already available for use.
We in agriculture, we intend to utilize it to do a number of things, to include increased monitoring of crop production, to look at precise acreages being established. We also see the application with regards to the monitoring of pest and disease, and more importantly, the monitoring of nutritional status issues with regards to nutrient uptake by the crops. So we are very excited in terms of the application of the technology, and we are looking forward in terms of how we can best go about utilizing it in a routine, daily kind of manner.
Kazimi says being well versed in the use of drone technology is extremely beneficial to the agriculture industry.
When it comes to precision farming, it is linked to the whole issue of production and productivity. So, for example, in terms of improving our monitoring of pest and disease statuses, we would have a better idea in terms of application of precise products with regards to rates, dosages, and frequencies. Likewise, with a more informed measurement of regards to nutritional status, we could make better utilization of the limited fertilizers and our soil ameliorants available. So yes, it's all about increasing production and more specifically increasing productivity, which is basically increasing the amount of crops grown on a unit area.
Staff on hand for the training agree the modernization of data collection techniques in agriculture will be extremely useful to all involved.
We are very happy that we are starting to sort of modernize the ministry. Drones, of course, is very important technology in terms of collecting data, and we are very happy that we are stepping forward, as a ministry, modernizing our ability to collect data on the farms. We are trying to our best in the ministry to help our farmers. It's for them. We'll be able to attend them, in a better way. And please, if an officer come to your farm, to ask you to participate in our program, please don't hesitate to say yes.
Having to use this technology, we know for a fact that it will actually speed up the process in terms of, so many times we need hands-on information in terms of farm acreage. You need to know the topography of the area, the amount of crops planted at a particular time, and so on. So I believe this technology will be quite important in terms of not only the farmers but to the ministry as well.
In other developments, Prime Minister Skerrit says Dominica has always supported LIAT because of the airline's exceptional contribution to Dominica's economy and that of the wider Caribbean. Government had been criticized for investing in what critics call a failing airline.
LIAT had its own issues, which are natural in this circumstance, because in many respects, LIAT would fly to destinations that they should not be flying from an economic standpoint. But recognizing that they had a greater regional responsibility, and so we treated LIAT as a public good, and this is why 4 governments continued to invest in LIAT, and we've done so with no regrets. I have no regrets whatsoever for putting our taxpayers' money, our country's taxpayers' money into LIAT. LIAT during that period served us pretty well, and we were grateful, especially during disaster times. In Erica, in Maria, LIAT was very helpful. Even in the COVID period, when they shut down, they were doing some charters. They assisted us with transporting our students, and they were very, very helpful. With a telephone call, they would respond. People like Captain Senhouse and others, the team out of Barbados, the team in Antigua, we had contact with, and very, very helpful and so on. It is a sad reality where LIAT is now in respect to its huge challenge. These challenges which confront LIAT were present prior to COVID, but obviously has gotten worse as a result of COVID, like many other companies all over the world, the Caribbean included. With Liat not flying and not being able to fly, this certainly has created great uncertainty among all of us in the Caribbean. How do we get from one island to the other? And it's always there's the saying, you never miss the water until the well runs dry.
The Prime Minister says Dominica will support all initiatives that would facilitate flights in and out of the country, but new travel arrangements within the region must be properly managed.
All of the interested parties who want to fly into Dominica, we will facilitate. There's Caribbean Airlines, there's Inter-Caribbean Airlines, there's One Caribbean. Air Antilles has indicated to us, I met with the owner of Air Antilles myself last week, who has indicated his willingness to even expand the services to Dominica and to the wider Caribbean. They have the planes, they have the know-how, and so forth. So we prepare to support this. What we would like to see happen in the region is something that we've been speaking about as a Caribbean region for a long time, is that we need to develop a regional policy on air transportation, especially now with the presence of so many additional airlines that have shown an interest in flying in the region. This is a small space, and we need to ensure that there is better coordination of routes. Otherwise, we're going to have a cannibalizing taking place, and people are going to lose money. And once businessmen start losing money, businessmen will stop operating. And so we need to ensure that we do not have airlines fighting for the limited space that we have. We need to organize it such that the particular routes that they can allow each other to fly.
In other news, one young man killed and one woman hospitalized. This following a shooting at the Blast on Sunday night. Police Public Relations Officer is Inspector Simon Edwards.
The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is investigating the shooting death of Hendrix Peters, male adult of Kings Lane, Roseau, which occurred at the Blast Gaming Center located in Castle Comfort about 8 p.m. on Sunday, 12th July 2020. According to information, two masked individuals entered the building where a number of patrons were engaged in gaming activities and shot the deceased multiple times in his torso and limbs. Hendrix was met lying on his back in what appeared to be a pool of blood with multiple gunshot wounds to his body. He was officially pronounced dead at the scene by a medical doctor and his body transported to the Lyndhurst Funeral Parlor awaiting a post-mortem examination. One female individual who received wounds at the scene is now a patient at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital.
Peters was reportedly on bail at the time of the shooting. He had been arrested and charged for the August 2018 murder of Ezra Roberts of Mountain Grand Bay. One witness at the blast on Sunday night reported hearing continuous shooting with patrons diving for cover. Hendrix's brother, McGavin, was shot to death in Grand Bay 4 years ago. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Welcome back. One local businessman is predicting a long road to economic recovery for Dominican citizens. Julius Timothy, who is Managing Director of AC Shillingford and the Company Limited, says the COVID-19 pandemic had a serious impact on the financial earning power of some Dominicans. And while the state of emergency has been discontinued and borders are set to reopen soon, it will take a while for things to pick up financially for locals.
Generally, though, even though when the restrictions have been lifted, a lot of people are unemployed. A lot of people are unemployed. I mean, all the hotels and all the people are just unemployed, and it's going to be difficult. It is going to be difficult. It's so that, I mean, they don't have money to spend anyway.
Another financial lifeline which some Dominicans looked out for was that of remittances. However, due to the global economic impact of the pandemic, Timothy also sees the pre-COVID volume of remittances as something which will be slow in coming.
These economies in the Caribbean, we spend a lot on remittances. Our people in America and England and so on would send some money for us. Even that's not possible anymore because they have difficulty on the other side. So they don't have money to spend, to send on. So it's going to be difficult, very, very difficult time.
In light of the challenges being faced by LIAT and plans to reopen Dominica's borders, the country is exploring a number of alternative air carrier options. Air access is expected to become increasingly critical as the region seeks to liquidate LIAT and find alternative forms of regional air transport. The Minister for Tourism has been in touch with a number of alternative carriers.
We have Seaborn Silver Airlines that will be having weekly flights into Dominica. So you're free to go on Silver Airline website and see the different flights they have available to come to Dominica. We also have a proposal from Caribbean Airlines. They actually submitted their request for license, which we hopefully will approve this week. And so we are hoping that we'll be able to get either a direct flight from Trinidad or through Barbados to come to Dominica. You also have the option of Inter-Caribbean, and we're also looking at proposal from One Caribbean that hasn't been finalized.
Air Antilles.
Air Antilles through St. Martin, you can get to Dominica. And so we'll be announcing soon the various ways which you can come to the country.
Those wishing to travel to Dominica will be required to observe the pre-arrival protocols.
You must have a negative PCR test that would have taken between 24 to 72 hours prior to arrival. So you must have a negative PCR test. Now, if your PCR test comes back positive, our advice to you is to stay where you are and seek medical care. The airline will allow you to come on the plane. So stay where you are, get well, and then you can fly to Dominica. When you arrive in Dominica, you will be subjected. You must wear a face mask. You will be sanitized. You will be screened, temperature screening. If you test 98 degrees or higher, you will be set aside and you will be further examined. And at that point, you'll be subjected to quarantine procedures, and you'll be subjected to a PCR test. Now, otherwise, if your temperature is less than 98, then you will be subjected to a rapid test. You'll be charged a little $5 US. It can hurt you for your own good, for your family good. The test is more expensive than that, but just for a little so we can. It's not a revenue generating matter, but it's a contribution towards the cost of providing that service. And of course, we'll outline on government website and in the public media all of the necessary protocols.
Passengers will also be required to fill out an online questionnaire posted on government's website. And the preparations well underway in the Bath Estate community for this year's hurricane season. Julian Morris tells us more.
Paradise Valley in Bath Estate was declared a special disaster area following the devastation caused by Tropical Storm Erika in 2015. Since then, preparations for subsequent hurricane seasons had been top on the community's agenda, and this year, 2020, is no different. Public Relations Officer of the Bathurst State Disaster Management Committee, Gloria Walsh, who is also a shelter manager, says the COVID-19 situation has brought to light new measures which must be implemented at the shelters.
We had our first meeting with the committee members, and what we are doing now is making preparation, especially during that COVID season. So what we have done, we have updated our list of community persons, and we also discuss about the way forward, especially during the COVID season, and people have to come into the shelter, and we have to do social distancing, and people have to wear masks, and all the protocols re-entering the shelter.
Luckily, a number of residents in the area rebuilt stronger after Hurricane Maria and are therefore able to take in neighbors who live in less resilient buildings. This in turn will place an ease on the number of people accommodated at the shelters with the social distancing measures in place.
Some of the people in the community after Maria, some of them have built back better. They build back better, and some people will be taking in persons. But also now, at the shelter, we have increased the rooms capacity, and then we have decided that we will put people in terms of, we will host people in terms of family. So some family members, if they are 5, we'll put them in a section and, distance, using the social distancing.
Bathurst State currently has 2 emergency shelter managers and 2 assistant managers. The annual training for this catchment area is scheduled for August. In her interactions with the people of Bathurst State, Walsh says they are on board with whatever is required of them this hurricane season.
All in all, I think Bathurst State, the people, they know they have to move once they have to move. But it have some, as I told you, some build back better. They have concrete roofs, so maybe they can house their neighbors, and that kind of a neighborly approach. In terms of shelter management, we're asking everybody, when they come into the shelter, they have to wear their mask, and we have to practice social distancing. We will be having our rules, and they have to adhere to the rules.
The 2 emergency shelters in Bathurst State are Roseau Primary School and Bathurst State Resource Center. Residents from Silver Lake also shelter in Bathurst State.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Are you still washing your hands regularly, wearing your mask in public, and practicing social distancing? 0 cases does not mean COVID-free. Stay home if you're not well to keep others from getting sick. Continue to avoid crowds in public spaces. Always keep your guard up. We're still fighting this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Skerrit consults with tour operators ahead of presentation of national budget. Ministry of Agriculture staff trained to enhance crop monitoring through drone technology. And businessman predicts long road to economic recovery for Dominican citizens. Feel free to access or past the newscast on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.